So you mentioned that you and your actor friends discuss how you do these audition tapes?
Yes, because I think the pandemic was a training ground. I mean, for a lot of things in our society, right? Everything changed. It was sea change. We all of a sudden had to figure out a different way to do everything, and I kind of knew this was going to happen, but
You knew the pandemic was going to happen?
No,
and
yes,
you didn't
yeah, I
tell
did.
us?
I did. A lot of people don't know that. Like I predicted it a long time ago.
Yeah.
No, I knew that we were going to have to figure out a way how to put ourselves on tape. We were kind of heading that way anyway, because I was getting a lot of those kind of auditions of like, hey, it's over in England. Can you put yourself on tape for this and send it? And I was like, okay, that's a little weird. It's not going to be the same as being in person. But I knew this was going to happen in a way that they were going to find a way to make this more efficient and expedient for the filmmaking process. And so when it did happen during the pandemic, we were all like scrambling. Well, how the hell do we do this? And my wife is a really good photographer. She had a nice Canon was it an M5? And so I knew I could get like high def. At that time it was like 1080. That I knew I could do a good video, but I didn't know anything about sound. I didn't know anything about this, like all this stuff, all the things that we're sophisticated about now that we didn't know before. The things that would be like really expensive, now they're cheaper, and that you can get these and you can do them on your own. So once I did that, once I realized like, okay, well, I need to learn about 3-point lighting. I need to learn about color temperature. I need to learn about depth of field. I need to learn a little bit about all these things that I've heard camera people talk about on film sets that I'm at. You know, what's the size? What millimeter of lens am I at? You know, and I think everyone should know that because it just makes you a better actor, understanding what the camera is picking up. But knowing what color temperature is good for you. Like I think right now you got me at about 5,500 Kelvin. My wife, when I tape her, 4,500 Kelvin. It's a little more yellow, a little bit more warm for her, for the color temperature. I don't know. It's her skin. It's all about the skin. Mm-hmm. Everyone has a different sort of thing. Like I have this pale skin. She has a weird contrast between her hair and her skin. Like we're matching the correct color for her skin and then her hair's off, or we get her hair and her skin's off. So finding the right color temperature that looks best. And for the eyes, I mean, it's all about the eyes with everything with actors. It goes down to it. So what color like really makes my blue eyes pop? What color looks the best with that? And yeah, so I settled on this. And so now I know, but like a lot of actors, they want to go, oh, I'll let someone else figure that out. And it's like, well, why do that to yourself? You know, figure out these things for yourself. It'll make you a little bit of a filmmaker and you'll look better in your presentation because you know what? We're not going back.
So you didn't settle for the iPhone audition tapes?
No. I don't like, so iPhone, I like having, so this conversation depth that we're right here, this is a nice distance to have a conversation with somebody on screen, right? And typically when you're on a film set, yesterday I was on a film set, this is the distance we had. iPhone, the camera needs to be about right here in order to get that framing correctly here, this medium close up. And I hate that. I don't want to have the phone kind of in between me and someone I'm having a conversation with. It just feels too close. So that's just an aesthetic thing for myself. So I'd rather have it like this 5 or 6 distance, you know, which is good for COVID too, 6 feet. But yeah, so I like to have it that distance. So and I wanted to be able to control everything. You can't necessarily do that with the iPhone. I know some people say, no, you're wrong, and I could do these things, but you can't really set color temperature with iPhone. You can try, but a lot of times you tape with iPhone and you end up looking like you have like yellow skin and you're like sick or something. It's like, that's not the best look. I'm not going to get the job. Like
sick, old.
Yeah, this guy's got a bad liver. We shouldn't hire him. He's about to die. I would rather it look like naturally like the way I am. And it takes some work to be able to do that. And I guess you start getting a respect for all the wonderful craftspeople that do that. That's their job to make you look good, to figure out how to light you, where to block off the light, how to filter, throwing a grid on something or some diffusion that makes it. Yeah, so there's a couple actor friends and I, we kind of geek out over gear and we go to camera shops in LA. We have Sammy's. In New York, we have B&H. And it's just like you go in there and you have conversations with cinematographers about lighting, about sound. You have conversations about what kind of lenses am I working at. So yeah, it's a little geeky. So sorry I went into the weeds with this. But
I actually think that it's so interesting and it's so important that you're proactive and you are basically just taking control of your own career.
Yeah.
And it's really that level of perfectionism that I think sets you apart from a lot of competition, which, you are competing for
You are.
a lot of the same roles. It
You
just
are.
is a fact.
Yeah.
So I would assume that if there's this really attractive footage that I'm looking at, because I mean, it really does make a difference.
It does.
Professional cameras versus iPhones, you really do get the depth in the eyes, and lighting is so important that, people try to edit stuff on their iPhones with filters and
Yeah.
all of these things just to get themselves to look like themselves.
The digital stuff, the digital tools that you have, and it always kind of looks a little digital.
Funny. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
It
you
doesn't
start
look
looking
it's-
like a cartoon and not
Yeah.
even noticing at a certain
Yeah.
point, and then you look insecure for using the cartoon filter. Like, it just looks crazy
Yeah,
altogether, right?
Exactly. I don't think we're going back to the
Yeah.
old way. And there's a lot of actor
Yeah.
friends of mine that are hoping like, oh, they're starting to see people in person again, like in the old days. And like, they save so much money by not renting office space, they save so much time by not having us come in there. I don't think we're going back, sadly to say, but you have to change with the times, I think.
I feel like if I was still auditioning, I would prefer to do tape over in-person auditions too.
Why so? Tell me.
One, because a lot of times when you go into these readings, the person that you're reading with, they've already read with 100 people, so they're not enthusiastic, and sometimes it's harder to really get into it yourself because of the circumstances.
It's a lot of heavy lifting for you as an
Yeah.
actor. You're like, here we go. And now you're performing,
Yeah.
but maybe not being truthful. And it feels like you're pushing too far, and and you only have really one shot at it. So
And it's harder to get in the zone when you have one shot
Yeah.
and you're thinking, okay, why does he look so bored while he's reading with me? Was he
Right.
just bored with everyone? Is
does
it?
he hate me?
Yeah, did I just wait for an hour?
God, do I really suck? You're like, no, he's the 100th person you've read.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, which I'm sure a lot of people finally, maybe you get to shut that off with all the experience.
I mean, yes and no. I think being a human, that's the part of it is like feedback. Like you want to be able to discern whether you're doing something correct, whether you're reaching somebody. Like, are you understanding me? Like, and I'm getting clues from you that you are. When you don't have that on the other side, whoa, that feels lonely. And I don't know any actor, truthfully, when you ask them, if they got in this business because they like doing things on their own. Right? I mean, at the very basis is like we want to all connect with other people, whether it's audience, we want to affect them, whether it's the other actors I get to work with and get to make connection with and maybe make friends with. I mean, I think we're all as humans striving for some sort of connection with other people, as much as like modern technology and our lifestyle would want us to do everything on our own. I think humans aren't wired like that. So I think the actor is a great representation of that need.
Definitely. I think that's what gave rise to podcasts too, because people want to connect and learn about other people's experiences. So.
Yeah, to go in depth and not just having a simple interview that's like 5 minutes or that you hear on the radio or whatever. So,
Isn't it so much harder to watch the kind of interviews that we used to watch that are so manufactured? You know that they have the 7 minutes to give one
Yep.
good story, one good laugh,
Yep.
and it's all, so rehearsed.
And you know that the person answering knows that they're supposed to answer within like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Which I'm terrible at. So,
Oh, I mean, that's a
I'm
skill
hard
in
at editing
itself.
myself. I have to go like, okay,
Yeah.
don't say that, don't say that, don't say that. Just say the simple version. And thank you.
It's called being detail oriented.
Yeah. It's being fulsome in my approach to explaining myself. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the pros and the cons of taping yourself for an audition are the pros would be you actually don't have the nerves as much because you know that it's just you and your own equipment, and if you don't get across what you wish to the first
Yeah.
time around, you have a second and a third and a 10th chance. The con is you might do it 8,000 times.
Yes. and then you understand what it's like to go through and be an editor, and
Yeah.
you're looking through 18 takes that are almost exactly the same.
Oh.
And you're kind of like, God, I'm so tired of looking
Yeah.
at myself. I'm really tired of my own acting right now. So like, I think a lot of us, and this is a discussion now, I feel like it's all on like an Instagram, like actors talking on Instagram about like their approach to self-tapes. And now there's teachers that talk about self-tapes and they're fully on board with that. So the approach is rehearse the heck out of it. and get really ready for it. And then I like to think of, there was this great quote I heard of William Friedkin, director who did French Connection, did The Exorcist. He, later in life, Matthew McConaughey was doing a movie with him, and William Friedkin was known as kind of a prickly director. He had opinions, let's just say. He didn't want to waste time and actors settling into like a third and a fourth take, because that's time. We shoot one angle, you should be ready to go for it. So he was, I think, telling Matthew McConaughey, he was like, no second takes, only on the first take, get it done on the first take. And Matthew McConaughey talked about that in his memoir that he wrote, Green Lights. And I thought that was great, because you show up and you're ready. And there's something interesting that happens with the first take. Like we're doing right now. Like you're kind of walking a tightrope, and it's a little uncomfortable. It's not rehearsed. We talked about that as well. It's not rehearsed. You're doing everything for the first time, so the words are fresh and creative and coming out of your mouth and original. And the second time, you get a little more settled in. The third time, you get a little bit more relaxed, and you might feel relaxed, but the performance might not be as interesting. You have to almost look at yourself as this laboratory of discomfort, that you allow yourself to be discomfited when you act, so that maybe there's something interesting that they're seeing on the other side. It might not make you feel comfortable, but I don't think that's our job as actors, is to be comfortable. I mean, we try to do everything we can to make ourselves uncomfortable, but these are uncomfortable situations that human beings are in. There's conflict and drama and all those things. And those things are uncomfortable, but we want to hide from that as actors. I think you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable as an actor in a lot of ways. And a lot of that is just like, okay, I'm stepping up to the plate. I hate to give a baseball metaphor, but I'm gonna swing for the fences, and I'm just gonna do my best with this, because I may only get one shot out of this. So you make that approach to your self-tapes. You get there, you do something right out of the gate. You don't wait for permission to act. That's another thing I tell younger actors, is that someone's going to tell you, is like, okay, now you're allowed to act. It's like, no, camera's rolling, I'm ready to act. I'm not gonna wait for someone to say, now you can be creative. Now you can open yourself up. You have to do it at the first time, because you might not get that second chance.
So what brings you to LA this time around?
Working on a show. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it. When does this air?
Ooh.
I might be able to talk about it. I've never known.
When would you
I'm
be
terrified
allowed?
of NDAs.
I know.
September,
When would you be?
September. I'm working on a
think we'll
TV
air
show
it
that I've
before
been
then.
working on many times before. So I'm
So-
back working on a TV show.
NCIS?
I can neither deny nor confirm whether that's correct over what it is. However, it's a role that I've played before. So I'm back here doing that. So
Do you work with Scott Williams?
I do, yeah.
Oh, I love Scott.
Scott's
He's been on the
wonderful.
podcast
I know.
too.
I saw the episode with Scott. I watched, and I said, I have to get on this awesome podcast.
Yeah.
So Scott was a writer on Castle. So I got to work with Scott. I don't know, when was that, 18 years ago or something?
Wow.
So Scott, so getting to see him on NCIS is always fantastic, because you realize that, I have really long relationships with these people.
That's so cool. And ironically enough, you and I met when you were promoting the premiere of Castle. It hadn't premiered yet.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
It was that long ago?
It was that long ago, because we were announcing that it's going to premiere September 23rd. I don't know, was it 2012 or 2013?
That might have been one of the seasons that we did, but I think we premiered in 2009, but that might have been like a season 4, season 5 or
premiere.
something like that.
Season premiere.
Yeah, but that was a while ago, So we haven't seen each other for a while.
Oh,
It's good to see you.
no. It's
You
good
look
to
great. You
see you
haven't aged a
too.
bit.
You too.
You're taking care of yourself very
You
well.
too.
Thank you.
I actually found our photo that I posted in a story today.
Nice.
Yeah. So we do look the same.
Yeah, we haven't changed, right? We haven't changed at
Or
all.
at least we'd like to think so. So Castle, though, was one of those shows that definitely had a huge impact on your career, to say the least.
No, it changed everything. I think about that. So Andrew Marlowe and Terry Miller were the creators of Castle. They're a husband and wife team of writers, and they came and visited my wife and I in New York a couple months ago, and I sat down and we were having dinner, and I thought, I was like, wow, these people really changed my life. Like everything changed when I got on that show. And I didn't think it at the time because we never do. You just take the opportunity that's right in front of you. But that was something that we did for 8 years. And it brought some stability to my life, some financial stability to my life. And it really did change everything. So I owe them quite a bit. But yeah, it changed everything about my career. That was the first time I was given a chance to play a single character for that long, and to be part of a television show from the very beginning and see how that evolves as a series regular, and really get an understanding of how the business of television works, from the actors to the writers to the network to everything that happens. So I got a nice little education there.
What were you doing before Castle?
I was acting, but I was kind of at a level. My first 10 years of my career, I moved out to LA in about 1998. So my first 10 years of my career, I was doing a lot of work. I was doing a lot of theater. I was doing what we call guest star roles, single guest star roles on shows, and maybe a couple recurring roles here and there, but nothing where people would take me seriously as a series regular. And I don't know what that shift is. It's a mentality. It's something. Maybe I just grew up and I learned how to act. I don't know. But people started taking me seriously as something that they would want to stick around. And I would say my first break out of that was about 10 years in, and I got I got a recurring role on General Hospital. And just a little side note here, I had tested for General Hospital. This is a story of my career. I test for something, or I audition for something. I don't get the first one. I probably don't get the second one. Maybe I get the third. Sometimes I get the 16th, the 10th, the whatever it is. Like, they like me and they can't figure out how to cast me. And so then eventually they just make a role for me. And it's happened a few times in my career. I'm like, really? Am I that hard to nail down as far as this thing of like, you know what? We like him. Let's just make something for him. Because I think I'm a weird combination of things. I'm a contrast in a lot of ways. And so General Hospital, they kind of did that. I tested for 2 different roles several years apart, and eventually they're like, let's just give Seamus this one role. And I was like, okay. And they didn't really tell me what was going to happen with it, but I was there a lot. I was a doctor, and I started doing, I think I did something like 55 episodes of that show. So I was sticking around for a while. I was very fortunate. And I think that put me at a different level where people were starting to consider me as a regular, as a recur, because those sort of opportunities started happening right after that. But it took 10 years of getting to that point.
Okay, 10 years is a long time to be persistent and to not give up. How do you... what is your state of mind?
Well, you have to live in this delusion as an actor. I really do think so, because I talk to younger actors all the time, and you want to change yourself to fit whatever they want. But a lot of times, maybe that's not the thing you're really good at. Maybe you are kind of special and original. I mean, think about all the actors you like. Aren't they kind of originals? They're not copies of other people. And yet, when a lot of times we're asked to audition for these things, they have someone in mind, a type, an archetype, a prototype of who that person is, and you change yourself to try to fit that. A lot of times isn't a good fit. Like, there's certain things that I'm good at. For some reason, I'm good at playing villains. I don't know why. I'm a pretty nice person. I'm kind to animals.
That's interesting.
I don't understand. I play a lot of
I
villains.
get all these villains on the podcast.
What is that, right? I don't know. And they're usually the nicest people,
And
right?
the villains apparently are friendly with me, so that's...
Right? You're friend with villains. Maybe that's
Yeah.
You attract villainy. I don't know. So it's like, maybe it's intensity. Maybe if you're good at being intense at something, that's a good attribute for a villain. I don't know, but I do play a lot of bad guys or antagonists or obstacles for the hero. I don't know if I always play the hero very well. I think heroes are kind of boring, to be honest. But I
mean, it is so much more fun to play the villain.
You get to do things and not get arrested for them, right? Let's just be honest. You get to rob banks, kidnap people. And you don't get arrested for any of those things. You get to drive fast. You get to do a lot of stuff that otherwise is illegal. So like I don't know what that is, but I do that thing well. And I don't know that that's always good for the longevity of my career, because villains get arrested, they get killed, they go away to prison, all those things. So I don't know. For some reason that was something that I was really good at early on. So like going around to being in Castle, being a good guy and getting to play a good guy for a while, that was new for me. And
So
showing
you were
that
totally bored.
no,
Just kidding.
it was a
kidding.
different challenge.
Yeah.
Because you're all of a sudden dealing with other people's stories. You're becoming interested in finding the truth. What is the mystery? Solving these things. Who did this? And it's a different set of things that different set of challenges for you as an actor.
Okay, but in those 10 years that you're trying to make it, are you getting feedback that's like, yeah, you would be good for this role, but we need someone 10 years older, 10 years younger? Like, what kind of feedback are you
You're
getting?
always getting that thing of like too old, too young, too ugly, too handsome. You're never quite right for it. I am getting like encouraging feedback, but I think here's what I think it is. And it's a lesson that it did take me about 10 years. I went to graduate school. I got my master's degree, and I came out here, and I was a little bit arrogant about what I thought an actor should be. I thought I'm always playing a character. Like I'm consider myself a character actor. I know this Hollywood version of that character actors are kind of ugly or fat or short or whatever. They're not your standard person, but I look at it as like all actors are kind of supposed to be character actors. But there is a lesson that it took me a long time to really embrace. And it's one of the first things that Stanislavski says, myself in the given circumstances, playing myself in the given circumstances. A lot of times that's all they want is they want the truth, because on camera, we can kind of see when people are lying.
Yeah.
Or they're pushing and they're trying to be something that they're not. They're working against their essence. And we can kind of tell. And I really kind of realized that. Actually, you know what it is? I said, okay, the heck with it. I'll just try that for a while. I'm just going to play myself. I'm not going to worry about playing a character. I'm just going to play myself. And it started working.
So is it like an exaggerated version of yourself?
What being like a...
When you decide that you're going to play yourself, I mean, are you just totally yourself?
No,
or
it's just myself.
Whoa,
yeah,
okay.
I mean, because I do think there are a lot of actors out there who are good at playing themselves. I mean, typically that's what a movie star is a charming person that you want to hang out with a lot, that does heroic things, right? And you're like, God, that person seems really cool. She or he seems really, they got their act together. I should really hang out with them more.
Like a
And I wanna go see
Denzel
them.
Washington, right?
He's a little different. I think he can do anything personally. I think he can do both. There are some actors that can do both.
Oh,
but
yeah, I wasn't limiting him, but
No,
I'm
no,
just
not
saying
at all,
he
but I think
seems like the kind of
he's
guy
hard
you
to
would want to be
categorize.
friends with.
Yes,
Yeah.
he seems like a good hang.
And it doesn't seem like he's acting. It seems like he's really the character that he plays.
He's good at bringing that truth out in himself and
Yeah.
putting it out there. I think, no, and I do understand what you're saying, but I think he has the ability to either play like an extreme character version of himself. And in the end, by the way, they're all versions of yourself. When I play a bad guy, it's just a version of myself that's a little bit more extreme. When I play a quiet person, it's just a quieter version of myself, a little bit more restrained. And I think all those versions of us when we play a character are all inside of us. And I think before I was trying to look for something that was so different. I wasn't looking for the parts of me that could be in this character. I was trying to be them.
That's so interesting. So it's basically like, oh, what would that character be like? Let me get into that
Yeah.
mindset.
Let me just imagine myself as that and see if that works. And I think that can work on stage. I don't think that works on camera. I think you have to find the shade of yourself that is like that person. You have to really start with that.
That's such a
You can
good
imagine
point.
some other things, but you have to start with that.
That is such an interesting point.
Thank you.
So when you were auditioning for Castle, which role did you feel most like, oh, this is closest to my natural self that I can actually really nail?
Of roles I've done?
Yeah.
Or Ryan, probably. Yeah, Castle on Ryan. Although he was the naive version of myself. There were a lot of times when we were on Castle that I had to say, because Seamus knows a lot of things. I'm a bit of a trivia expert, and I have a lot of knowledge. And that's not what the character Ryan was doing. So there might be something that comes up where Castle would make a reference about jazz, and he would say something about Thelonious Monk, and I really love jazz. Seamus does. So so Ryan had to act like I have no idea what you're talking about, but Seamus knows what you're talking about. You have to surrender those things as part of the story, and you have to fit into that story. A lot of times, I think we all want to be know-it-alls and good at everything, but you have to give yourself somewhere to go. You have to allow yourself to be the person who's learning from other people around you, and I think that makes a more interesting story for the long term. You know what I mean?
Well, in those 10 years that it's not working out, is there a point where you feel like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be doing this?
I mean, yeah, I think I was always like, okay, well, maybe I'll just teach. Like, I never thought I would completely leave acting or the world. It's just like, well, maybe it's not my time right now, but I have to keep at it. And to be honest, my wife is so driven. She's also an actor. And so she's really driven, and she would give me the encouragement to keep going. And having a partner, a life partner, a business partner with you that does that keeps you going is so important, because you're going to be down some days. She's going to be down some days, and I have to be up for her those days, and she has to be up for me those days.
As long as you're not down at the same time.
I mean, yeah, you can't. You have to go like, oh, it's her turn. Okay.
Yeah.
I will have this just blatant confidence today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I will fake it completely, because someone needs to have this version of it, because we need to balance each other out and bring each other up. So yeah.
So now that you are totally a pro with the cameras and lighting, are you thinking about doing more than audition tapes? Are you thinking about filmmaking?
I mean, yes, and I've certainly gotten involved in a few things as far as the producing side of things, and I don't know. It's there are so many actors who want to be directors. I don't know. It's great to create your own content and things. It's so hard to get people to watch it. There's just so much content this day and age. So it almost becomes like that's a whole other job. I think if the opportunity came around and it was a little bit easier to get something off the ground or across the finish line, I would jump at that opportunity. I am writing a lot now, and I think that makes me a better actor, by the way. Understanding story from an outside perspective and where I fit in that story. I think I was in denial of that for a long time. I think now that I understand a little bit more about how drama is constructed as a writer, I think it makes me a better actor. But so there's a few things I'm trying to do, plays, some scripts, but I think no matter what, even if they never see the light of day, it makes me an artist that's more involved in this whole world.
Coming off Castle, is it easier or harder to book new gigs?
It's the same. Unfortunately, that's so yeah, that all my friends are like, so now you never have to audition for anything ever again.
That's what a lot of us thought.
Oh, it's a myth. It's a myth, unfortunately. It's a myth. I mean, look, I even heard like Tom Hanks was doing a press tour for one of his movies, and he said that there was only once that he was able to pick, or there was only a couple times in his life that he was able to pick his project and something that he felt passionate about to get it off the ground, to get it greenlit. And the rest of the time it's been back to the drawing board and kind of prove it. I mean, he's a little different. I'm sure he's getting offers and scripts to read, but there's a lot of us that no, we still have to audition. I mean, you get a little bit, well, I wouldn't, sometimes it's sort of just back to the bullpen, back to the same place you were before, and you have to have the confidence that someone's going to put you out there, and that maybe they'll see you and they go, oh, wait a minute, I know that guy. Now there are a lot of times that like I will audition for something and I'll be in consideration for that, and because I do have a body of work, or I do have a reputation, they'll ask other writers, do you know Seamus? I know you worked with him on this show, and hopefully they give me a good recommendation, and enough of that happen. It helps you get across. It helps you get that next job. But no, there's still a like struggle. I struggle with like the same things that a beginning actor would struggle with. It's just maybe I'm a little bit. I have a lot more calluses now that I can take rejection. So I guess it doesn't get better. You get it. What's the metaphor? What's the phrase? It doesn't get easier. You just don't take it as hard. I guess.
And as
Rejection.
personally, probably.
Probably not as personally.
Yeah.
Because you do it enough, you go, yeah, I wouldn't cast me in this either.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give me this role. Like, I look at something and I go, no, you want a guy that when they walk in there, they have a look on their face and they look like a, cowboy who's been out in the sun for 30 years. Like, I can try to act that, but you're probably going to want to just go get that central casting version of what that is, because those guys exist. But I'm going to try. I'm not going to stop swinging for the fences, but you might just go out and get that. And you're like, why am I auditioning for this? It's like, okay, well, this is just an exercise and just me embracing acting or a different character or a different challenge.
Yeah. Does it make it easier or harder to have a relationship when you're both in the same industry and you're working a lot and your wife's working a lot? Do you guys have to kind of manage your schedules in a way where it's not in conflict?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, yes, because it's there'll be a time where she's working and I'm working, and they might be on two different coasts. She's in Brooklyn right now, and she's has an audition today, and I can't be there for her to help her go over it and work on it and rehearse it with her. So I feel bad for those times. So like the last 6 months of my life, I've been out here in Los Angeles most of those last 6 months working on a movie and then a television show and another television show, and I'm very fortunate for the work. But yeah, it becomes
It's
that
tough.
thing. We have like a 1 month rule. Like, we can't go a full month without seeing each other. So that means she comes out where I am, I go home, or she's working somewhere, I go meet her there. Like, we kind of have to do that. Otherwise, we start living different lives and we start getting weird routines. And like, you do that now? Like, okay. It's like, no. We always do the dishes, Seamus. Like, oh yeah, okay, that's a new thing. Okay. But we try. We have to make contact, and we talk a long time every day.
Yeah. Thank God for technology.
Yeah, technology's allowed that a little bit easier. But
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things, because you can kind of you can end up on location somewhere and just sort of like you're just existing for your day to day. It's like, okay, I get my workout in. Okay, I have to meditate. Okay, I do some writing. Okay, I got to audition. I got to work on this thing, and you stop having contact with that other person. So it's pretty important to make sure to make that a priority. Yeah.
What role does networking play in your career? Do you feel like you have to do the networking and the relationships and all of that?
Yes, I think you should. I don't know what that means anymore for the actor, because the idea of being in person with somebody, meeting somebody out in the world, in the wild, I don't know that it's the same as it used to be.
Is it that different still?
I mean, where are you going to meet people at? Bars, restaurants? I mean, I guess maybe there might be some parties.
Like industry events and things like that?
I used to go to a lot of industry events, and I don't meet anybody who's actually does the same thing that I do. Like, I go out there and I'm not meeting the writers, the directors, the actors. I'm meeting all these people that aren't really doing that.
The
And I was like,
dentists that sponsored the
yeah,
events?
maybe. I mean, some very nice people, but they're not
Some
the
very
same
nice
thing.
dentists, but yeah.
I think yeah. I think, okay, I'm bad at networking. I'm terrible at networking. And I learned that lesson a little too late. I think I always felt like it was like, well, this feels like I'm just kind of hanging out with them because I want something. But I think there is a role to be played for someone getting to know you as a person. And because a lot of times we think it's like, well, no, I just want to let them see me act. And I was like, well, yes, but they're not going to know the real you. Mm-hmm. So sitting down and having coffee with somebody, having lunch with somebody, catching up with somebody if it's been a long time, regardless if they have a project going on or not, just kind of making contact with people. And it's not to get a job. I think you should enjoy the process of being around peers. Again, getting back to this, kind of the need for other human beings. I think you should enjoy that process and let the rest take its own shape. But you can't have a career just staying at home, making your videos, making your auditions, making your own content. I think you have to go out there and you have to make contact with new people and other people. And that's hard to do, because the only time I meet other actors, other writers, other creatives is when I'm working, is when I'm on set. I go to a writers group in New York, and I meet a lot of writers, directors, actors there. And that's fantastic for my social abilities to practice those things and having conversations with people, regardless if they ever hire me or want to work with me ever again. I think it's just kind of something that's good for all of us. So making any excuse you can, you should do it. But I'm terrible at it.
Oh, what about social media? Because technically, social media is a much more powerful tool now than it was when you first started acting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, they used to discourage it. They used to say, "Don't post anything from set."
It was like what reality TV used to be, remember?
Yeah.
It was just like, oh.
Well, they were
You're on
scared about
social media?
spoilers too. They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you're gonna put some. They're gonna see a location. You're gonna see what you're wearing. That's a special secret. We want to be able to control the publicity." They were scared of Twitter at the very beginning. And ABC was just like frightened of having us post anything. And then a couple of years later, they're like, "No. We want you tweeting. We want you live tweeting. We want you posting these things because
Isn't
it
it
builds
interesting? Yeah.
buzz and it builds people to come to our show." And for them, that's free promotion. So they embraced that, but at the beginning, they were terrified of it. And I think it's supposed to be an extension of your personality. I think a lot of people take it as like, well, I'm going to show you the best part of me, the best part of my life. I like to do the thing where I show silly things that are part of my life, goofy things, just little bits that my wife gives me a hard time. He's like, your Instagram is trash. Yeah. But it's like, hey, I saw this sign that was misspelled and I took a picture of it and I put it up there and I find it funny. Ha 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 ha.
And she's like, you're doing it all wrong.
She's like, this is terrible. But for her, it takes her like hours to make a post. So like, I'm the opposite of her.
She's strategic.
She's strategic. She's precise. I don't care. I'm just putting it out there. It's like, oh, I haven't posted in a couple days. Let me look at something on my camera roll. That one looks good. Let me say something funny. Blah. There we go.
But you also have such a dedicated fan base that likes all of the silly things that you do.
I hope so.
So is that a result of Castle and NCIS and being a part of these cult favorites where people just feel they have this strong connection to you?
I think the people who watch those shows have a good sense of humor. I really do. I think that they're smart. And I think that they can see when someone's having some fun. And they don't take it so seriously that they're like, well, what did you mean by that? And they're not going to give you a hard time about those things. So,
Yeah.
Hopefully I make them laugh. I don't know. I feel like most of my life I'm just trying to make people laugh. I don't know.
Have you ever had to deal with, did you ever have to deal with the self-censorship stuff because of the cancel culture and all of...
Oh, well, I mean, I think it taught me, I fortunately, I'm a bit of a Boy Scout and I've always been making sure that everything I'm doing is above board and that I don't do anything out there in the world. I mean, because that happens when you start becoming a semi-celebrity. There was, so I was once at an acai shop. I was getting a bowl of acai and meeting a filmmaker friend of mine who likes acai. I don't like acai. It's cold fruit. It hurts my teeth. But he liked it. And so I said, let's go eat this acai. Okay, fine. So I'm sitting there. I'm waiting for my order. And I say, okay, I'll have the, the acai fresh bowl. I'll have that one. Oh, and I guess can you throw some mango on there? And I'm like looking at her. And she's kind of not making eye contact with me. And I'm like, should I run the card? And she's not communicating with me. And I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong with her? Like, just look at me in the eyes. It's like people are on their phones now. They don't even know how to communicate with anybody. It's just, okay, I'll just tap. Oh, like, can I have the receipt? And she's just nodding and handing it to me. And I'm just like, what's wrong with that girl? I was like, oh my God. And I walk away and I realize that she knows who I am. She's nervous. She's not communicating with me because she's rude. She recognizes me. She watches a TV show that I'm on. And so she's not being rude in any way. She's nervous. And I have to say, oh, okay, mind your P's and Q's out there in the public. People know who you are.
Isn't that a weird kind of moment when you actually become self-conscious of that?
Yep.
Yeah.
And you have to, and maybe it's a good thing, by the way. It makes you always behave. And I don't know, maybe it's just a part of me to always be a nice person and, do unto others as they would do unto me, that I wouldn't be rude to anybody on purpose ever. Almost ever. And so I think that's made me think about a lot of the things I say. I'll comment on things all the time. I'll be so mad, just like anybody on it. Oh, you got me super mad. How dare you? Oh, yeah. Something about the government. Oh, how dare they? And I'll think about it twice about it. I'll compose it and I'll go, why am I saying that? I'm just inviting, delete, erase, turn off the phone, walk away and go, okay, well, I almost got pulled into that. And we do that a lot, don't we? We want to get involved in that thing because we feel like that's real conversation, but it ain't.
It's not, especially when you have a bunch of bots responding to you.
You're talking to a machine halfway around the world, and they just did that to you. Hey, yeah, doesn't that piss you off? And you're
Totally.
like, yeah, it does. Like, you're right. How dare you? And then like,
And
well,
you were
just got-
provoked.
yeah, you just got
And
provoked.
yeah,
And
totally.
you got used for a click or for a view. And,
Yeah.
and then you feel a little empty after that because it never feels good.
No.
But we
No.
think it does at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I fall into that too. But I try to always have that thing. You know, I've had friends of mine that have been criticized as part of cancel culture and things, and I'm like, maybe you shouldn't have said that. Maybe you shouldn't have done that, or maybe we should be a little bit more private with our things. Like, we don't have to share absolutely everything with the public. Just because you have an opinion, maybe you should keep it to yourself. You don't have to entertain everybody with all your opinions as if they're the most genius thing that has ever been heard. So
Yeah, I heard Bill Maher say something not too long ago where he said, you know, before we didn't talk about politics over dinner. We didn't talk about politics with each other, period. It was kind of, you know, something that was more private. And now it's a part of entertainment. And so everybody's talking politics. And then it's so divisive.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it because I just want boring politicians again. Can we go back
I know.
to the time where we had boring politicians? We're like,
Yeah.
oh, they're so boring. They're beige people.
Yeah.
I don't want to be them. I don't want to know what they think about anything, really. I just want them to do their jobs. Can we go back to that? I think our lives were all so much better, whether we knew it or not, but
Yeah.
everyone's kind of addicted to the attention. And so now there's been a big crossover between news and entertainment, and politicians are part of that ecosystem now.
Yeah.
I dislike it. But
Yeah, I dislike it too. So now I don't participate because I'm
Yeah.
just like, this is draining. It's emotionally draining.
And I've never convinced anybody of anything on the internet.
Yeah.
I've never said, you know what, I'm going to have that one tweet, that one post that will change everybody's mind. Never happens.
And people are so defensive at this point that no one is open to other opinions.
Nope.
They're just kind of all dead set in their ways, and you know.
You're going to get a guard against that
Yeah.
doesn't quite penetrate
Yeah.
so on the internet. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just sucks because on one hand you're like, okay, being quiet isn't always a great thing either, right? Because
No, you feel like you're not standing up for
exactly.
anything. Yeah.
Exactly. It feels cowardly not to, but then you feel stupid when you do it. It's a lose-lose situation. So
Damned if you do,
So
you're damned
I
if you
decided
don't.
to start an entertainment podcast where I only talk positive things and things that I could,
Good.
you know,
Good.
help
The world
with.
needs positivity. This is great.
Yeah, because I realized I'm consuming so much negative content, and the rage baiting, you fall into it too. You fall into that trap, and I was like, "Ugh, you know what? I just want to watch mindless things now to shut
Right.
my mind off
Right.
and not have all of that negativity." And then I thought, no, let's try to add something positive. Give people some proactive steps they could take in pursuit of their own goals and dreams, and something, you know, something to look forward
Having
to.
those conversations,
Yeah.
yeah, about what, you know, in depth of what people are really into, or what's on their mind, in a way that what they're working on below the surface, below the sound bites.
Yeah. But it must be validating for you after you land these huge projects. Now, if you go and have a little bit of a break, you probably don't have that fear anymore of like, oh,
No,
is
that
it
fear
gonna-
never goes away.
Really? Oh man.
Oh well, I don't know. I think maybe you just rationalize it a little bit more. But there because there have been stretches where nothing is going on, where
Yeah.
it feels like nothing is going on, and you're like, oh, okay, well, it's kind of quiet. What do I do with my time? I think you have to figure out other things to be creative about in that time. And now I look at those times that I'm like, oh, I should have done more in those times. I should have done more writing. I should have been practicing piano a little bit more. There's all these creative things I should have been doing in that downtime. So I think you have to trust in the downtime. There's a positive version about it, is that will pass. Keep your chin up. Keep a positive attitude. Surround yourself with positive people. Don't get dragged down by things online, and do something creative every day that makes you feel like an artist. Because I think a lot of times we feel like, and unfortunately actors, we can only practice our art generally when we're hired to do our art. So we have to figure out other artistic outlets or other things that allow us to practice some kind of art. Because otherwise it doesn't feel like we're doing anything for creative people, you know?
So do you still go to classes? What do you do? Do you do theater?
I do theater. I haven't found a good class in New York yet, but I'd be open to it. But I was taking classes out here in Los Angeles. A really great teacher named Stuart Rogers who thinks a lot like I do, and we both are kind of acolytes of Stanislavski, so we're right around the same mode of thinking together. I took with him for many years out here, and because I think as you get older as an actor, you change as an actor, and you have to learn how to adjust and use different parts of your craft, of your technique, and things become more interesting to you. Like now, I'm a little bit okay with not being on top of everything. I'm okay with being a little bit messier. I'm okay with not knowing where something is going. Like, I don't know this conversation where it's going to go. I could panic about it, or I could just embrace it. Like, I don't know. I'm just along for the ride. I hope something amazing comes out of it. I don't know.
Do you think that's a maturity thing?
Yeah. It's doing it enough. It's doing enough and realizing that you don't die and you don't win and you don't fail.
Yeah.
That just something happens and you go, "Oh, it wasn't so bad. What was
So
wrong
you're
with
less
me?
anxious.
What's I was scared of?" So like you're less anxious, less scared of a result, and you're not actually caring about a result maybe so much anymore. You let go of a few things. You hold things a little bit looser as an artist, and I think that's better for all of us. And I think that's where I am now in my headspace of like, I don't know, let's just see what happens. I take my first step and we see what happens.
Are there lessons that you've learned along the way that you feel had you applied them in the first 10 years?
Oh yeah.
Like what?
Oh, so many things. Oh, I could list them in a book. Nobody wants to hear all your opinions. It's not that you have to be real about the truth and what you feel is good or bad. You can keep those things to yourself.
Do you mean in
a lot of things? In
terms of script?
You watch a movie, scripts, something, and sometimes you end up insulting people or their taste, and you don't really do that on purpose. You just think you're being discerning as an artist.
Are you tweeting these things?
No. I tried to never put that on public. Just
Okay.
conversations I would have with people like, "Oh, I hated that movie," and sometimes I still do it. And it's like, "Shut up, keep these things to yourself." Like it's like, it would like I don't know. It's fine
In
to have
fear of
opinions,
it
but
getting to the filmmaker?
sometimes it has, and that does, and you regret that, and then you end up maybe kind of souring a relationship in some sort of way by expressing these things, and you just think you're being discerning, but you're just kind of being a jerk. So that's one thing that I've learned. Also, take advice and go to a class. You might not know everything. There's still a lot to learn. That was another thing that I thought I was kind of a know-it-all and I knew everything there was. I don't need to go to class. But being in front of a camera is very different than being on stage at the Moscow Art Theater. It's very different. And you have to... And there's a learning curve there that I don't think you can study in any school. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. You have to be open to learning about how other people do things. And so, taking people's advice and actually going to a class and humbling yourself by saying, I don't know anything. Let me see what you have to offer and how I can incorporate that in something I already do. Those were a lot of the things, a lot of the mistakes. But I mean, there were a lot of things I did right. I said yes to almost everything when I was younger. I knew that you never know where something's going to go. And sometimes some things went to a weird place.
What's the weirdest place?
Well, you end up on a film set that you're like, well, what is this thing that I'm doing? And no one seems to know what they're doing. And you're like, I'm like, this is garbage. I ended up, oh gosh. Okay. I said yes to this thing and this is going to be really terrible. Okay. I'll just write it out. Okay. And I'll just be nice and polite and professional and just count the minutes. And it's like, oh, we're done. Oh, wrap. Oh, it's so great working with everybody. Oh my God. Why did I say yes?
And then how did it conclude?
I mean, no one ever sees these things.
So that's the good part.
They don't see the light of day. There's so much, there's a dearth of content out there. Sometimes it just gets buried and no one ever sees any of this stuff. So I guess there's a good thing about that. Mm-hmm. But or you're doing plays that aren't very good, or you do readings that aren't very good, but it's about the people you meet along the way, because it's a part of that networking thing.
Yeah.
You say yes until the point that you can someday say no to something. But I said yes to a lot of things, and just yeah.
Is there anything you said yes to that ultimately you regretted because it did see the light of day?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe there's a few things. Maybe. Maybe.
Let us know so we can Google all of them now.
I'm trying to think, because sometimes you took it for what it was. Like, it was an opportunity and you got paid and you didn't have to do anything super embarrassing.
But then it
just
lives
wasn't the best
forever.
writing. I mean, it doesn't. I guess the thing about living for forever is you have to be able to find it.
Yeah.
And the more stuff that accumulates, stuff gets deeper and deeper and deeper in the searchable database of stuff. And now, like, I'll look back, I'm like, I wonder how that turned out. I never saw that commercial. I never saw that episode of that show I did, and you can't find it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't exist. Like, maybe it was online. It was like, why am I saving this? Boom, and it's gone. So it is possible for stuff to still digitally be buried. and sometimes you just hope there was like, okay, let's just all forget that ever happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which happens a lot in this industry.
It does, right? Yeah.
I mean, I've done some projects that, had I not felt like I had to pay my dues,
right? Right.
not do them.
I would have said, oh, okay,
yeah. And like, you
maybe.
cringe watching yourself. You're like, ooh,
Yeah.
this is painful. Like, did
Yeah.
I really have to do this?
Right.
But yeah, you build a resume.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just a practice of being in front of a camera. Someone's paying you to practice.
But it's so much easier to do a good job when you're proud of the project you're doing. When you're
Yes.
already knowing that you're doing a shitty project, and you just kind of, want to curl up and
Yes.
hide. And
I mean, look, like, I think also you can take a not very good actor and put them in a professional situation and they look amazing. You can take a
Yeah.
good actor and put them in an unprofessional situation and they look like a bad actor.
yeah,
And
for sure.
I've seen that, and I could name examples that I'm not going to say right now. But you see them like, they're a good actor. What happened? You're like, oh, welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to what it's like being
Yeah.
at that level, because there are people who, they're not necessarily worried about the best lighting, about the West. They're not letting you do a lot of takes. They're not letting you do these things, and you look like crap. You look like
Yeah.
a bad actor. So you have to also sniff that out. And you're like, oh, they're not going. This is not going to come off very good. Like, I'm going to look like a bad actor. Like, no matter what I do. So you have to know when you're headed into that situation as well, and that only comes with time. Being able to, and trusting the people that you're working with too, that you're like, oh, I think they know what they're doing. Okay, I'm in good hands.
Which
I
at
think
the
we're
start
all right.
of your career
You
is
have
not
no
always.
idea.
Yeah,
You don't know any of those red flags.
totally.
Those don't exist.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, I don't know. They just want to see me act. Cool. Okay. Oh, take all my clothes off. Oh, okay. Well, this seems tasteful though, right? Like, this is gonna look amazing. What are you shooting on? Oh, digital. Oh, okay. Well, that's nice. Video camera. What? High 8. Oh, what are we doing here? So yeah.
Speaking of which, is anything off limits? What are the boundaries?
Of what? Of things I will or will not do?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I haven't thought about it because people haven't asked me those things. I mean, I think there are things that I find that as I get older that I find exploitational, and I unfortunately see a lot of young actors be exploited that way. There's a lot of bad horror movies now. There's a lot of this whole thing of like, everyone has to make a horror movie and twist it with something into something else. Like, this is really like a statement about society and about the political collapse in front of us. But there's vampires. But there's vampires too, and there's nudity. But I think that's making a further statement about this. Like, no, these kids, they're like 20 and they get naked and they turn into vampires, and that is a comment about the Republicans and the Democrats and our socialist construct. And you're like, okay, all right, you're just exploiting people. So when something feels exploitation, when something's really violent for the sake of just being violent, I dislike that. And maybe that's just me getting older and being a little more precious with violence. But when I play a character that's just like super violent for no reason, that just like is like, oh, someone's really getting excited about blood or seeing things break or whatever, sound design they want to put on something, I'm just like, oh, I can't do that. Like, that's not me anymore. I mean, maybe when I was younger I could do that, but I'm not into that. So like, I think as I get older, I shy away from some of those things that it feels a little amateurish, because I think honestly people just want to hear like good stories, and they want to hear about human relationships, and they want to hear about challenges that people are involved with, and those things are easier to make than something that has a lot of CGI. Right.
Yeah.
And they're harder to make, by the way. They're easier to make in that they're cheaper, but they're harder to do well, and they're harder to trust actors to do that kind of thing and having that kind of storytelling.
Well, and then if you're relying on the shock factor, nothing's shocking anymore.
I mean, where
I
do you
mean,
go?
maybe 15, 20 years ago, but you can't
Yeah, like where are you going
Where-
now? That
where
nobody's
are you gonna go
shocked
now?
with anything? So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, the things that we see. I mean, we're all filmmakers now. We all have the ability to show anything around the world at all the time. So like, what is shocking anymore? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Sometimes I seriously ask my husband, I'm like, am I just getting old? Because the level of vulgarity that I see in music videos and stuff now.
Yeah.
Before we continue, let's take a quick moment to chat with this episode's sponsor, personal injury attorney and founder of AN Law, Aninal Bundian.
Congratulations on earning your title as super lawyer.
Thank you.
Personal injury is such a competitive field. Do you feel like you have to also work on visibility and self-marketing?
Absolutely. I feel like it's a saturated field.
What's one thing people say after a car accident that can completely ruin their case?
I'm so sorry.
So why?
That could be used against you. When you say things like that, the person on the other side is going to run to the insurance company, and that's the first thing that they're going to say. And that can be used against you.
Have you ever had a client who messed up their case without realizing it?
Yes. I've had a client who the insurance company likes to play games. They like to call the client and ask them questions and pretend that they didn't see representation letter on file. I had a client that actually spoke to them, gave a full statement to the insurance company, and completely ruined their case.
I've heard that posting on Instagram can actually hurt your case.
Absolutely.
I've read that people actually get in trouble with gym selfies too. Like, it seems so innocent, but they go to the gym, they take selfies working out, and then they claim to be injured and...
Well, it does make sense. If you're injured, you should not be at the gym doing reps or lifting heavy weights. But, people do that, and actually it really hurts their case.
Make sure to visit anlaw.law for more info. That's anlaw.law.
That's when you cross over to being an old
seriously,
person.
yes.
It's really
I think I'm there.
I don't understand this music. I don't understand what's like. Why is just everything about sex and money? I don't understand. It's like, oh my God, I'm an old person. I'm talking like an old person.
Oh my God, my friends Ava and Javier did the funniest skit. It was something like us listening to rap in our 30s or something like that, and just the shock on their faces when you're actually
Just like
listening
new rap
to the
songs,
lyrics.
and you're like, yeah. You hear these things, and you're going like, oh, okay. Oh my God. And you look around if there's any children listening, and like,
Yeah.
Do parents? Well, nobody listens to the lyrics. I think that's one thing you realize is like, no one, like, did you just hear what he said? He's
Yeah.
like, no, because
Nope.
I was really into the beat.
The beat, exactly. So that was me.
I was dancing, not listening.
Exactly. That was me all throughout my early 20s, and sometimes I'd be driving, my dad would be in the passenger seat, and I would just see his color changing.
He would listen. He'd
be like, can you
are
turn this
listening
off?
to this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I would just be like, oh, Dad, who cares? Now I'm just like, what are you saying in these songs? Like, what are you doing?
Nobody listens to the lyrics. I think that's what that's proof. The stuff that gets by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of these songs have like 5 words from beginning to end anyway. So.
Yeah, they're just repetition of the same thing. I know.
Yeah.
But pop music has always kind of been like that, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And now we're getting it sort of like the climax pop music where it's just repetition
super dumbed
and
down.
sounds. It's really dumbed down.
It's so dumbed down.
Yeah. I worry about, and I don't know, this is going to be real old person talk. Is that like, well, where's rock and roll for these kids? And I'm not saying like guitars or whatever. Where's the music of rebellion for these children? Everyone wants to conform. Everyone wants to have all the love songs and everything. But where's the pissed off kids?
Yeah.
Like, is this generation not pissed off about anything? Or these successive generations? Like, what are they angry about? Where's their punk rock? Like, because I think it's important for every young person to kind of rebel against something.
Yeah.
It's been happening for as long as I can remember, and now they're mad about stuff, but they don't have music that expresses that. So where is that?
But that's what's interesting. The rock bands that we grew up listening to, now they are bigger than ever, because now there are like 3-4 generations listening to the same rock
same
bands
music,
because we don't have the industry pushing new artists anymore.
Yeah, we don't.
I don't believe that new rock bands don't exist, but it's so hard to find them.
It's hard to market a band. I had heard that factor, that I was like, it's easier to market a single pop star, a Taylor Swift, because there's a face, there's a personality you can attach that. You don't have to spread it out among 5 people, right? So it's easier to market a single person, and that is pop music, right? That's not a rock band. because that's sort of disappeared in the last like 15 years.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's just I think a lot of it's like the industry controlling that sort of thing. So
That's
it's a
what's
bummer.
being talked about a lot. And Billy Corgan said that not too long
Really?
ago. The
Okay,
singer of the
interesting.
Smashing Pumpkins, he felt like it was artificially pushed out.
And there's a lot, I mean, the history of music and the way they push stuff, there's a certain amount of control that like they hear the songs that they want us to hear, not always what we want to hear. So I believe we've been controlled for a long time, but somehow a lot more things used to get in. A lot more variety used to get in. Now it's just
Yeah.
kind of the single pop star that we hear, and their music kind of sounds similar to each other. There's not so much variety in between. So and a lot of it I do like, but it's also like it kind of all sounds the same now, guys. Like
Yeah.
but all it takes is someone coming along and saying like this is a throwback to the way things used to be, and you're like, oh, it's back. Yes. We
Yeah.
can bring back that rebellion. So,
Yeah.
so kids, if you're out there, kids.
I
Bring
think-
back the music of rebellion.
I
It can be
think they
pop, it can be
want
punk,
it.
it can be whatever, but
I think
bring it
they
back.
want it. I think the market's there.
I think they do. We need like that grunge revolution, whatever
Oh,
whatever that
yeah.
is for the generations. We need that, and that thing that gets them to fighting and say, yeah, I'm kind of pissed off at the world around
I
me.
feel like it's only a matter of time because music kind of sucks now. Mainstream music. I
Yeah.
mean, it's so hard to. I've been listening to a lot of international music because I can't listen to the super manufactured stuff that's. It's like AI might as well be doing those
Yeah.
songs because there's no authentic voice anymore. You feel like everything has been gone over the industry with like 20 times to make the perfect,
Everything's
hit
clean.
song. It's so
Yeah,
polished.
Yeah, everything's clean and polished. It's not rough.
Yeah.
It's that thing. So yeah. Going back to that simple thing, and I think someone's going to come along, and I think they're going to change our minds, and everyone's going to copy them, and that's going to be great for all of us.
Do you remember when Gaultier's single blew up?
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was so different from everything,
It was
and
so simple.
he didn't like it. He was like, "I'm out. I don't want to be famous."
Wow. Yeah, that's right. He kind of did. I don't see very many. I'm sure he's still making music in like Australia.
I read that he made a conscious decision to step away because he didn't like the fame. He didn't want to be this
Oh.
pop artist.
Yeah, he didn't. Well, because I think when that happens, they start wanting. He's like, okay, play your song, and that's all they want to hear from him. He's like, this was like my third album, and you just want to hear that one song that I play over and over, and that's all they want for you. And you're like,
Yeah.
it's not kind of not what you want, and you feel a little bit used. I think after a while, and
Such a
then you wanna
blessing and a
retreat.
curse, huh?
Yeah, it
to have
is.
such a massive hit. It's like on one hand,
Everyone's heard it.
everyone's heard it,
Yeah.
everyone knows you.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you're always expected to live up to that one
To
mega
that one
hit.
thing, or make that same thing again.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I that was a fluke. We just did that. Normally I make music that's like this or whatever. Thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and then you see with a lot of these musicians, some of them that are at the top, they're good, but doesn't feel organic that they're like godlike, you know?
Yeah.
So,
There's a machine.
yeah.
I think I've always looked at this, and when it comes to pop culture or when it comes to movies, actors, you got to have a face on the rapper, right? When I say rapper, like WRAPPER, like a rapper, like the jar has to have a rapper around it. You got to have a face on it. It's got to have somebody's face. Might as well be you be on the face, and we're going to put all of our effort and our energy into putting your face on that thing, and that's going to be the thing that represents our product, and we're going to sell a bunch of them, but you're going to be part of that. And I think sometimes people get deluded, think that they're special necessarily. It's like they've just been picked. I mean, they might be very talented, but they're being picked at that moment, so you have to maximize that. But you're kind of being used in a lot of ways. And I mean, think about all the people that that just did like 3 movies and then disappeared, or did one big album and then they disappeared. And you're like, well, where are they now? I thought they were really talented. And it's like the industry maybe decided that they were kind of done with them. Whatever industry that is, film or music, and they moved on to the next thing, and it's also, youth is part of our world. When you're young, you're like, cool, this is all about me. They're making movies for me. This is me. And then you get older and you're like, oh, they're not making movies for me. Oh, I feel like I've been kind of forgotten about. And you realize like, well, no, it's easier to market to younger people. And so put a younger person in that and make them the face of that rapper. And then you move on. So I think that's just how time works. And you have to be okay with that in a little ways. Otherwise, it'll drive you nuts.
But how do you deal with the industry side, with the machine of your industry?
I mean, I I think it makes me sad. No, I mean, I count myself lucky that I've been able to have a career with longevity. It makes me sad to think about all the people I started with that are gone, that aren't acting anymore, that gave up. And like, I would see somebody in a waiting room when I was a younger actor, and I'd have a nice conversation with them, and I'm like, oh, this person's really cool. And then I'd see him at every single audition, and that would be like that for a couple years. And then I heard that they would quit, or they'd gone back, or it was too hard, and they just said, like, I'm gonna do something else that isn't so soul wrenching, and then they leave, and you feel sad. He's like, oh, I thought I was going to be seeing those people for my entire career, for my rest of my life. I was going to be hanging out with them, but then they're not, and you realize, well, I guess that was special, and that was something that was of a time. But it makes me kind of think about those days and wish I would have gotten closer to a lot of those people, because I think they were really interesting, special, and talented people, by the way. And for whatever reason, it was too hard. They couldn't thicken their skin enough to allow themselves to take all the rejection. So yeah, I think that turnover, that churn, is tough. And I think what I deal with it now is that I try to hold on to those people and see those people as much as possible, and not just rely on seeing them on the next job or whatever, but realize that we were friends, and that was precious, and that I need to maybe honor that a little bit more, you know?
I think that's what a lot of people don't understand about this industry, that there really are countless talented people, but it is an industry, and there are so many other elements that need to work out.
Luck is so important. And I mean, of course, being ready for luck to accept,
right?
Luck is super important, but there's so many factors, and I'm so lucky. The breaks that I've had, the people that have given me a chance. I'm so lucky for those people and grateful for those people. So,
With all of the success that you've had, have you ever been in a toxic situation, in a toxic work environment where you're like, ooh, this is not cool?
Yes. I think everybody has. I think you come on some shows and the number one on the call sheet doesn't come and introduce themselves to you, and everyone's really quiet. Everyone seems to be a little scared around you. And I got a big mouth. I'll just like start cracking jokes. I mean, I choose them correctly, but I'm not shy. So I'll go up there and I'll shake the hand of the number one on the call sheet. If they're not going to come to me, I'll say, hi, I'm Seamus Dever. I'm grateful to be working on your show. It's nice to meet you. Big fan.
What's a number one on a call sheet? Is that an actor?
Oh,
director?
sorry. Yeah. So on our call sheet, we get a call sheet every day that says like these are the actors that are being called to the set for the next day's work or whatever work it is. And a lot of times you're numbered by importance on the call sheet. So some of it might be billing. But a lot of times the number one and the number two are pretty important positions. And so knowing who's number one on the call sheet, and they're the kind of leader of the show. Now, there are good number ones who know that it's their show and they don't let their ego get so big that they don't bring other people along on the ride with them, and they're gracious and they're good hosts. I've always thought this, like, so like Nathan Fillion was number one on Castle. Mark Harmon was number one on NCIS. One thing, by the way, side note, Mark Harmon was such a good number one on NCIS that when he left the show, they just reserved number one. They left it blank.
Oh.
And he still has a parking space, by the way, at NCIS that nobody parks in case Mark shows up. Number one on the call sheet, in case Mark wants to come back. It's all there. I mean, but when you are a good number one, you're a leader, but you're an encourager, and you it's not like, this is my show, I'm the owner. You're a leader, and not all actors understand that leadership position, because we're taught to just act. We're taught to be the best actor you can, to accumulate the most attention you can on yourself, whether you're the hero or whatever. But if you're the number one on the call sheet, there's a responsibility to that. And people like Nathan are very good at making people feel at home. He's gracious. He welcomes them. He says, sit down, let me talk to you. Let me connect with you. Because when we're in this scene together, we're partners, and I know it's my show or our show and you're a stranger, but I want you to feel at home and relaxed, because you're going to do your best work when that happens. And I agree with that, because there's been a lot of shows I've been on that where I don't feel at home. The number one doesn't talk to me. Nobody talks to me. And you're just sort of an island. You're like, oh, it's one of those shows. Okay, I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to mind my manners. I'm going to find somebody to talk to. Hey, there's the sound person. Like when they're wiring you, hey, so what's going on? Hey, where are you from? Where are you from? Oh, where do you live around here? Oh, what do you like to do on the weekends? Oh, I know that restaurant. That's a great place. You know, when you start doing those things, you find friends where you can, because it can feel really lonely. And as you know, I'm a very talkative person. So I have to connect with somebody. But a lot of times it can feel really lonely. When you have a good leader, you never feel that. You feel like you're at home, and you feel like it's like, they want me to do my best. And by the way, that gets out there in the world. And so like when friends talk to people, I know that was the case in Castle. There would be a big star that we would try to get, and they would ask their friends that were also on that show, and they're like, what's it like working on that show? And if they would say something like, no, they're a bunch of assholes, stay away, then that person would say no, right? But if you say, no, they're amazing, you're going to have a good time, you should do it. And they go, okay, cool. That speaks a lot. That gets around. So, and it's not necessarily sucking up to people, but it's making people feel like they're part of the creative experience. Because nobody wants to just go and feel like they're a gun for hire, you know, like here I am, I'm just gonna play your bad guy. Okay, put some bullets into me. Blah, blah, blah. Everybody go home. You know, here's a rag, wipe off the blood. Thanks. Here's a paycheck. Nobody wants to feel like that. You want to feel like you're part of the process. You want to feel like you contributed in some way to that show. At least I think everybody wants that. I want that. I don't know. I think it's super important. And so some people do that. So that's the number one on the call sheet thing.
So the number ones that are not so great, is it usually people who are, in your opinion, just more insecure, or their egos are just off the charts because they're so successful?
I think it might be. I think there might be some people, yes, there might be some people who are, I think unfortunately, and this is my big thing, I think there are some people in the industry who get rather jaded about the process of making television, and they think that they don't have to prepare. They think, and maybe they're so tired of doing the same scenes over and over every day, they get bored of it, and so then they stop bringing their best. They stop bringing good ideas. They kind of just show up and say the words, and then they go home. They're not there to share an experience with their coworkers. And it's toxic is what it is. And I've worked with a lot of those people. They're like, oh, they're checked out. Like they're in season 8 or 9 right now. And they're not really here. They're thinking about, you know, their vacation, or they're thinking about what they're going to do on their ride home, but they're not here. They're not present. And I've seen it, and I've actually started to fall into it sometimes too, when I'm on something for a long time, and I have to check myself and go, no, you are lucky to be here. This is an opportunity. Not everyone gets to do this. You know, you will be at home in a couple weeks, and you'll go, gosh, I wish I would have made more out of that. Whether it's connecting with other actors, or trying something, or being creative and keeping yourself in a creative place. And so I think you have to check yourself, because I've seen that. So some of that, yeah, there are people who are checked out. There are people who think like, whatever, I can bring a minimal amount of effort and I still get paid the same, whatever. People will do whatever I do. I'm so good at it. I don't even have to mean these words that are coming out of my mouth. I can just say them. I can write them on a piece of paper. I don't even have to memorize them. You know, and they bring that kind of effort, and they're like, oh, and I see it, and it's like, oh, there's nobody home. It's yeah.
So the big shows that you're working on, NCIS and Castle and bigger projects, is there a lot of waiting around, or is it that the time, you guys are just so efficient at this point with the schedules that you get to do your scene and you're in and out? Like, what's the toughest part of the actual work process? Because I know a lot of actors say they have to wait around like 6 hours just to do their scene. Is that a part of the daily?
Yeah. There's waiting. I mean, there's time in between where you're not doing something, but you should be using that time wisely. You know, keeping yourself focused. I think that's when, as I get older, the hardest thing is saying like, okay, I don't have the same energy I had when I was a younger person. I need to eat something. Okay, yes, I need to be drinking water. I need to do these things so that when that very important scene comes around at 5:00, you know, in the day, and it's the end of the day, and people are going, I still feel like I'm at my best to do it, because so that's a personal thing. That's the hard part now, is judging that, because before I could exist on a couple cups of coffee and a pack of cigarettes, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to be the same actor for 12 hours. Now I can't do that. So I feel like my energy dips, and like, okay, no, stay focused, do your breathing, meditate, do whatever it is to get yourself in that position. And you have to have patience with the process, because it does take a while. But most of the TV that I've experienced is shot so quickly that it's like, okay, there's no time to be not ready. You have to be ready.
So how many hours a day are you working on set?
Generally like 12 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, 10 to 12 hours with most shows that I've on. I mean, they can be long days. I mean, yesterday I was out in the sun. Is my forehead burnt? I was out in the sun yesterday. Oh my God. I was in like parking lot. It was so hot. But like, perfect example. There was a scene that was pretty important to me. I didn't really realize that we weren't going in for a certain kind of coverage. Like I thought my close-up, we were shooting 3 cameras and I did it. We did like 2 takes. First take was terrible because we were just putting everything together and that was my coverage. And we got done. I was like, oh, we're going to come back around and we're going to get tighter. Oh no, that was it. Oh no. And it wasn't a disaster. It's just, I had plans and I wasn't saving it. It was just like, there's sometimes someone will give you a prop and you'll go, and you'll just like, I'm holding this thing. I should be doing, lines. Yeah. So like I was saying, and you're caught off guard. And sometimes that happens to you. So you're assembling things, but so getting comfortable with the process and realizing that there might not be a second chance to do something. That's the big struggle with it. There is some time in between. There's a lot of waiting time. It does take a long time, but when stuff is shot quickly, it looks like shit. Let's just be honest. And the stuff that I've been on that's shot really quickly is like, oh, this is not going to turn out very well. Especially action stuff. You'll see like, wow, you shot that really quick. I don't think you've got everything you
Red
want.
flag.
I think you're hoping to get lucky. And when you start cutting this thing together, you're going to realize you're missing some pieces. Or maybe that wasn't the best version of it. Yeah, and you start to realize that. So you have to have patience with that process. And by the way, the times that I've done, I did a show called that was called Titans, and it was a comic book show for HBO, and it was I played a demon. Hold on, what was that? A demon from another dimension? A demon supervillain from another dimension. Yes, that's what he was. His name was Trigon, and we shot typical television series will shoot about 8 pages a day, so that can give you an idea of like how quickly, how long you're spending on one scene, how long you're spending on one page of script. On Titans, we did 3 pages a day. I loved it because you would get 5 or 6 takes to do something, and you could really focus on one very particular moment that's super important.
And perfecting it.
Yeah, and then you see that's the schedule that a lot of movies are on. Like big features are on that 3-page a day schedule. You're like, well, yes, they want to get that very particular thing correct. They want to make sure that it looks the best, that it sounds the best, that it's the right expression of the story. And you're like, they take their time with those things. And so I love that. So like that kind of schedule is, yeah, I'll do one scene for an entire day. Hell yeah. I love that because you get it right. And it feels a little bit more like theater, which is where I started, where you get to really rehearse something and make sure that it's right before you move on. A lot of times in TV, you just run out of time to make it what you want it to be, unfortunately.
Are there personal sacrifices that you've had to make for this career that you struggled with?
You're not in charge of your schedule. There's so many human life events I've missed because I was filming or I was working. Birthdays I've missed, weddings I've missed, things I wanted to be at, things I really thought I should be at, and I couldn't be because I was working. Anniversaries that I've missed recently. Sorry, Julie. Our 20th anniversary, I was working.
At least she understands. Of all people,
she does understand.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it any less of a bummer.
Yeah.
But it's like you're not in charge of your schedule.
20?
Yeah, we've been married 20 years. Crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Not very
Thank you.
Hollywood of you.
No, right? I mean, but maybe I'm not very Hollywood, or maybe I'm outside of. I feel outside Hollywood enough that that 20 feels normal. I don't know.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I got lucky. We met at a bookstore at Samuel French Film and Theater Bookstore in 2002, and she's loved my life. And I got very lucky that happened so young because we've been able to build a life together. She's there for me. I hope I'm there for her in exchange. But yeah, it's a lot of people say like, don't date another actor, but it's like she's the only one who knows what I'm going through. Other actors are the only people that know the
Yeah.
weirdness of our life. So when I say something to her, she's like, oh, it's that thing. And you're like, yeah, it's that thing. And it's so weird. People from the outside are like, that really happened to you? Like, yeah. Oh, you had to go put your not to be a bummer. Oh, the time you had to go put your dog to sleep in your lunch break, and then had to go back and film 7 hours after that. And you're like, I had an hour to go do that and say goodbye to my dog, and then just go back to work like nothing happened and just do this thing. And you're like, yeah, that's our life. She understands that. A lot of people wouldn't. They're like, I mean, doesn't it seem like they give you some time off? And like, no, like, or that time I was sick and I had the stomach flu and I still had to do that scene that day. Nobody understands that. It's like how hard that is. You're like, okay, I was like in between. I was like passed out on my desk in between takes, and like, here we go, show people. All right, here comes the magic. I got 3 minutes of energy to do something. I mean, other actors, the only people who understand that weird sort of thing that we have to do in order to do what we love. You know.
And then having a strong relationship like that, it just gives you the strength to go out on the battlefield with all of the crazy things that this industry brings.
Yeah.
So
because there's always someone to talk to, you know, and say like,
Yeah.
it's like, this is happening to me. Do you find this weird? And you're like, yes, but I can relate.
do you guys ever think about doing projects together?
Oh yeah, I mean, we've done a bunch of theater together. She played my wife on Castle, so we've gotten to work on television together. I also, I want her to have her own experiences. There's nothing more than I love than her having success and going off and doing something, and I just show up and I get to enjoy it.
Wait, how did you
know what I
guys
mean?
get to play husband and wife on Castle?
So, you know, as it happens in television, you start becoming friends with everybody. You start making friends with all the writers. You start making friends, and you just hang out socially. And they knew Julie was an actor, and they really liked her, and they wanted her to come on the show. And then when it came around that I had a girlfriend, this mystery girlfriend, at first that everyone was making fun of me because I like show up with a new tie, and it's this thing of like, he has a girlfriend? What? This is weird. And it becomes a little bit of a mystery of like who this person is. Like I'm making it up. Anyway, so eventually I'm like, when she shows up, I think I pitched that to him. I was like, you know who should play that? Julie. So like, cause she had auditioned for the show and didn't get that part. And I was like, but I know they were saving something like longer term for her. So when it came around, I was like, what about Julie for that? Like, oh, kind of like that idea. And they offered her the part, and then she got to come back and play with us a couple times every season. So, you know, we were very lucky that happened and that they let us do that. And, you know, it's weird because we had been married at that point now for like 5 years at that point, but we got married on the show. Oh. We had one child on the show. So we got engaged, of course, and they did a big scene about that. We got married and they did a big scene about that. And then we had a kid on the show, and then we had a second kid on the show, and then all the children started showing up, and then like, okay, we don't have those experiences we don't have children in real life, but getting to do that on film was kind of fun. So yeah, we got lucky, and
That's so cool.
It was cool. A lot of people don't get that, but we're like, yeah, this is great. We got to
Yeah.
do this. So I think a lot of people thought we met on the show, which is hilarious. So it's like, no, we had been together for like 10 years at that point.
Did you guys read crazy stuff about yourselves online? Do you ever pay attention to comments?
Most of I think maybe I'm lucky. I'm in the position that most people are very respectful for like our fans tend to be respectful. They're not jerks, and so they always generally say nice things, and they're very encouraging and positive. We don't get that toxic thing. I mean, maybe if I was on a certain show, I would get that or something like that. But the shows that I've been on, I don't seem to get that. I get a lot of people who are just sort of like okay with our lives and everything. So maybe I'm lucky in that way,
great,
because a lot of
yeah.
people I know, they don't get that.
Yeah.
They're just so critical, and you have to figure out a way to tune that out and go like, oh, because then you start digging for things. You know, it's like you'll get like 99 like really nice comments, and you get that one, and you're just like you'll just focus on that thing and let it ruin your day.
You know what I'm kind of obsessed with these couple of days? TikTok brought it up. It's this girl, I don't know her name, but she'll take a picture of someone famous. It'll be like Angelina Jolie, and she will start reading all the negative comments and then showing the photos of the people who wrote it, and you'll see, you know, like someone will be like, oh, Angelina, you know, doesn't look so great, and
Right.
then she'll show the picture, and It is so hilarious.
Yeah.
You know,
'Cause it's-
actually putting them on blast. Sometimes people need that when they're just putting out so much hateful stuff.
Yeah, because I know it's like fun and it's sport and everything, but it's I mean it's mean and
It's
in a way, and
mean.
you're hiding in anonymity.
Yeah.
It's not very courageous, you know.
No.
And you see those people and you kind of go, yeah, well, I mean, look, hey, you can't take it back.
I think you're
You
not
know?
talking about someone's character. You're talking about their physical appearance.
Their person or their
why
family.
would you write negative comments about what someone
Yeah.
looks like? It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's never occurred to me to do that. Like, oh, let me write about how terrible this person looks.
Yeah. Some people though,
And about
yeah.
like one of the most beautiful women in the world at
right,
that. So
right.
you
They're
know.
just finding some flaw that they go, oh, like, and like, oh, because it's a way of sort of bringing somebody down or something. But
Yeah. But it's kind of crazy how people don't realize that what they say about other people is really a reflection of themselves.
Yeah, they're projecting in some sort of way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it says so much about what you see in others says a lot about you.
Oh yeah. It was like, I mean, like, you talk about your friends this way, because you probably do. Actually, when they're out of the room, you probably do, don't you?
Yeah.
And that's a fact. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, the internet is an interesting place.
It sure is.
Yeah.
I miss old internet, don't you? Where things were, it was just all fun videos. And it was just like, everyone was kind of like, oh, this is really great. Yeah, what a phenomenon. Let's all start doing this dance together. Let's all start doing these other things.
Yes and no. I mean, with old internet, I'm not sure I'd be able to have my own show and to be
Okay,
able
good
to
point.
do everything
There would have been a lot more
independently.
gatekeeping, a lot more.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, good point.
Because, so many of the guests that come on my show are friends, people I've worked with, and
Right.
people I get to meet on Instagram.
Right.
So-
it's not someone pushing a project that you're like,
Yeah.
well, these are the people I have to see because their publicist wants me to da 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 da. Yeah,
Exactly.
all of that
Or
stuff, so.
agents going, yeah, you're not getting any of these guests unless we get $30,000 per 30 minutes.
Yeah.
At
that point,
we're
you're
not
just
dealing
like,
with that. Like,
"Ugh,
no.
we're not having this. We're not having an honest conversation at that point.
Exactly.
Someone's being paid or someone's
to
trying
do
to
it.
pimp
Yeah.
something.
In which
Yeah.
case, not interested
Yeah.
because that defeats the purpose.
Yeah, it's not honest at that point. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's been so great seeing you, Seamus,
It's been
and
great seeing you.
catching up after all these years. Let's not let another 13 years pass by.
13,
before we
maybe
do this
14.
again.
It could be. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'd have to look
Oh my
back
God,
on a
maybe
timeline.
14.
It might be that long.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. No, but let's do this again soon. And
Let's do
next
it.
time, hopefully your wife can join us as well.
You should interview my wife alone. That would be great. She's fascinating.
I'd love
so,
to.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
So let's set it up.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Great seeing you.
Great seeing you.
If you enjoyed this episode and you want to help us grow, all you need to do is subscribe to our channel and drop a comment.